using Google Forms for Student Voice is pretty common. We can now do this directly through Google Classroom with a quiz assignment. I'm going to do one right here for my Year 11 class. I'm going to do a feedback, and it's created a blank quiz for me. If I clicky, I am in that blank feedback quiz, and I can add my questions here. So I often do a kind of how is it going, I might word it a little bit differently from that, a how is it going one, which I would do as a linear scale very often, from really bad to excellent. Worth always looking at the student view of that, just so you're not confused about what that will look like for them. It's all good. And I would often add in a, not so much a multi-choice as question as a, if there's a preferred mode of instruction, again I would word this differently. For students, of course, I would typically do as a checkbox so they can multi-select. So if I was to say teacher help, teacher video, Google it, or look at previous code, those are kind of the options that I'm encouraging my students to develop, so they can select multiple ones of those rather than individual ones. And of course there's the usual what do you want me to do more of kind of question, which you would do as probably a short answer or a paragraph or whatever. And finally, the one thing that you possibly can do, might not be ideal for everyone, is if we look at a question like this, you can set up an answer key and have some feedback. So you can say which ones are right or wrong. That's a bit dodgy under some circumstances, but for Student Voice you don't really want to do right and wrong, but it might work for you. And you can add some answer feedback. So incorrect answers, they get this response, which might be to tell them to go one pathway, and correct answers, they get a different response, goes a different pathway. So that's my blank quiz, my feedback form pretty much done. And I can now go back to my classwork, and it's in place. Although it says blank quiz there, it will actually show up correctly. So my due date and topic, of course. And the last thing there was, of course, you can reuse this. So in same as, I won't assign that right now, come back to that later. I can always go to a different classroom and reuse a post, and it doesn't have to be from this class, it can be from a different class. So I can just dive in and grab whatever.